Welcome back to the final update on Bridges Round 2. Sorry about the late update with this final video for Round 2 of Bridges, but I wanted to make it with the final scores to properly give you the final scoop. But I also wanted to make them a surprise for the awards ceremony that happened yesterday, so I let myself procrastinate the video till now. Yay! Anyway, let's get an update on what happened in the last day of play. Red grabbed these towers near their base, ignoring a number of open floors over in their network to focus on tower value. Orange grabbed this 2-ladder tower next to their area along with some individual floors that they had. Yellow grabbed 2 high towers near their base area. Green filled in some towers and reached out to grab these 2 ladders over towards Blue's area. Blue filled in their backline as we expected. And Magenta made a push towards Cyan. Overall, nothing too impactful score-wise, but you're here for drama, you're here for action, excitement, so let's get into the juicy stuff. See that scoreboard I have up there? That's the scoreboard as it looked at the end of the game. I now introduce you to the Pointpocalyse. Magenta, minus 28 points. Cyan, minus 16 points. Orange, minus 8 points. Red, minus 7 points. Yellow, minus 3. These point differences were a result of illegal moves that the teams had made throughout the game, which ended up meaning some of the points in their network weren't actually accessible to them. What you're seeing now is the board that I used to do the final check, so you can see the counting process and what that looked like to verify the final game board. I used carpets to mark up how many moves were made and light blocks to count points. And the bedrock blocks here and dark colored blocks represent invalid moves and invalid points. That way you can just do a count on that type of block and get an exact number without having to rely on bad counts in your head. I really wish we could have caught more of these issues during the game so they could have been fixed and not penalized the teams, but this in-depth counting process where we check through each bridge to see if it's valid takes multiple hours to cover all the teams, and we had multiple different mods, which meant some mods caught some things, some mods caught other things, and between all of us we found all of the things together. So it's not really something we can be doing consistently throughout the gameplay, and it's really only a big project we do at the end, and unfortunately we catch some stuff that got through. For example, these towers look superficially okay, but when you look closer, these black floors aren't actually connected to the rest of the network. Or this bridge, which looks okay, but without my toggle, you can see it goes to a block node. These issues mean the towers these floors are part of are no longer valid captures. We had some discussion about whether to overlook some of the smaller issues, or allow people to go back and fix things, but we decided we didn't really want teams going back in and making large changes to the board after the game was over. And deciding which moves we'd allow to be fixed and overlooked seemed too arbitrary in favor of one team or another. We decided the points would be counted as they stood on the last day. Ultimately, it's up to each team to keep track of their moves and make sure everything connects properly, so avoiding these mistakes in the tangle of bridges is a skill in itself as well. So when it comes to the Cyan team, those two things I showed you were the only issues they had. Coming over to the Magenta team, there was on the last day they made this move out where they connected the 3rd and 4th floor of these towers over here. But you'll see back here, this bridge is actually completely unconnected from the rest of the network. If we turn the toggle, you'll see it comes to a tower where there's nothing coming into it. Over on the other side of their network, you'll see similarly the 3rd floor here on these outer towers is just completely unconnected to the rest. You go along, you'll see there's no ladders coming up to it. I think there was supposed to be a connection here, but because it was blocked off by that, they forgot to add one in. Similarly, over here, down by the edge, if we turn off the toggle, you'll see is a bridge going to a block node. This is definitely really easy to do when you're on the bottom floor. You're just standing beside it, you go bop, 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 and you aren't actually walking across the bridge, whereas on higher levels, it's a little harder, it's a little easier to spot when you're walking across the bridge, saying, oh wait, I can't actually walk into this node. I definitely always recommend that when you are placing bridges, make sure that you are walking along the bridge from a known good starting point to your end point instead of jumping around with pearls or standing beside them. It makes it a lot easier to catch these as you go. Moving over to the red team, they had the bottom floor of this tower on the outer edge, just completely unconnected to the rest of their network. Really easy to forget on the bottom floor, which makes the tower claim invalid. Also over in the center of their area, there was this node right here, where 2 bridges come into the same node. It kind of looks like it should be okay, but we don't allow more than 1 bridge to a single node. So we pick the node that goes to the fewer number of points. This connects to a lot of stuff in their network, and we just disqualified this side. So 2 floors and a tower claim. Over in the orange team, we have this section over here where they were making some really tough claims out towards the outer edge. Where on the 3rd floor, they forgot to connect this line of bridges to the rest of their network. It looks like you can kind of see right here from this floor there was probably a diagonal connection they were thinking of making here to make this valid, but they forgot about that, adding that in, and so that makes these two tower claims invalid. So I know they definitely had a lot of struggle trying to connect into these towers. There's a lot of block nodes. It's very difficult, very tricky, and so unfortunately one spot got overlooked and they lost some points off of that. Over on yellow, a bit of a heartbreaking here at the end. Very simple mistake they made here on their second floor, where they have a bridge going from an open node to a closed node. There is another open node on the tower. This is one that definitely I was kind of thinking maybe we should be able to fix, but unfortunately just takes off just a couple of points and brings them into a tied finish with green. Definitely green, yellow both did a really great job of playing this round. I think definitely both deserve it, but definitely unfortunate yellow couldn't quite pull out that victory. And the green team was the only team of all the teams that did not have any mistakes in their network. They had accurate counting, accurate bridges, everything's connected up. So a very good job of them. Definitely they deserve some of that extra points coming just from uh, working really hard. I'm sure that was not easy to keep track of everything. And I think definitely that's the thing. It's really easy to look at these things and say, oh, how could they make this mistake? But there's a lot of moves. There's a lot of different like maze-like feeling of going through all the towers. And it's very easy to forget about small stuff and overlook, oh, hey, is this connected to there? Oh, did we already make that move? I thought you made that move. I didn't make that move, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of ways to mess up. It's very simple. So definitely I kind of commend people for making less mistakes. I think that takes a lot of effort and work, and oftentimes a lot of double and triple checking your own stuff. So it's a lot of effort to make sure that everything is accurate, and that brings us to the end of this round. Definitely, I think it was a lot of fun. Teams did a really great job. There were some really cool strategies of competing for the center or competing for the outer edge. A lot of blocking people in. Red kind of got an unfortunate spot where they weren't able to get into these center towers. So I think it was definitely very interesting, very exciting. And Bridges round 3 starts in a week. Signups are open. There's a link in the Titancraft Discord. So definitely go check that out. We'd love to have you in the next games. If you can't make this one, there's going to be more going on as long as we have interest in the game. So thank you for watching these recaps. Recaps will come back for round 3. If you want to just follow along, we'll have lots of more exciting action coming to you in a week.